I'm freezing! My nipples are so hard!
Hi, it's me, John Lee. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation, or where the hell I've been these last 3 months. And even if you weren't wondering, I'm going to tell you anyway. It all started back on October 22nd, 2017, when I was
Working sports at a concert. I don't know why.
I worked a lot these past 3 months. Sometimes by myself, but usually with my crazy but awesome coworkers. I drove the pussy wagon, I jumped the pussy wagon, and I even had to push the pussy wagon. I worked at clubs, costume parties, concerts, Texans games, the Houston Livestock Rodeo lineup announcement, and even the Thanksgiving parade. It got so cold at an event I was working that I couldn't feel my toes, and I...
Look, koozies in my shoes.
Oh, and I even played the Nintendo Switch before a shift.
Just working hard, right?
I went to a live recording of a segment for The Ellen Show. She was giving away World Series tickets and her crew was at my school. I didn't win, but I was on TV. Well, barely.
There I am, Gary, there I am.
I attended Mecca's Dia de los Muertos festival. After working with the Multicultural Education through Counseling and Arts on promoting their festival for the previous 2 months. The festival was great, with live music, performances, vendors, art, this kawaii-ass handbag, these kids that stomped the yard, and these kids that made me, maybe, want a child in the far future. Look at them, they're so adorable. One of my best friends since 7th grade got married. Like, holy shit, she got whole ass married. The ceremony was beautiful and the reception was great because your boy not only got the party started, but he kept it going. Congrats again to Mr. and Mrs. Martinez. I am beyond happy for you two. Halloween happened, but all I did was have cheap margaritas at Applebee's and hang out with my homies in my room.
What do we do? A lot of nothing. Angel's here too.
The Astros won the World Series and my parents and I celebrated with some Jello shots, even though I had a final the next morning. I went to my university's homecoming game, or I forget if we even won, because I honestly just go for the drinking and tailgating. Later that day, I went on my first ever second first date, but we'll get back to that. Just know that
I'm not saying I'm drunk. I'm just saying I've had full margaritas and I'm fucking rocking it.
I wrapped up working with Mecca, I watched the Dreamers March on campus, met with the director of KHLU 11, and shortly after I finished school for the semester.
I could cry. I'm so happy.
Now back to that date I mentioned. As Willow would put it, hey mom, I met a boy. I've known him for a while now, but these past few months I've gotten to know him in person and I've enjoyed every moment of it. I like his taste in music, his sense of humor, his conversation, his personality, and I mean just look at his face. It is slightly above average. I'm totally kidding. But anyway, he loves to travel, and he even took me on my first ever flight. But we'll get back to that. I don't want to sound head ass over heels, but I'll admit, I'm a tad bit swoon.
Orphan time!
I went to my fair share of museums these past 3 months, and I'm currently working with the Houston Museum of Fine Arts, where I got to attend this fancy-ass party where I was very much underdressed and looked like a child. But I got to meet one of the artists of one of the exhibits. I went to the Houston Health Museum, the Houston Children's Museum, the Modern Art Museum of Fort Worth on accident. That's a whole other story. But the best was the 4-hour drive to stand in a room for 45 seconds at the Dallas Museum of Art. Thanksgiving happened, and I got to meet my biological nephew. His name is Rocco, and he is just so goddamn adorable. Thanksgiving also consisted of a lot of drinking, eating, and a lot of catchphrase. I decorated for Christmas, where I almost fell off the roof, job shadowed a sports radio producer, finally recorded a podcast with Foy, had a friendship bonfire inside because it snowed in Houston.
And this is what it looks like. It's just raining. It's just raining now. It's just raining. Oh god, oh god.
Went to see the Moody Gardens Christmas lights, saw a dope-ass drag show, and had my first shot ski. I went to Day for Night, where I saw these awesome light installations and a ton of artists, but we'll get back to that in a bit. And just overall had such a great time that I definitely want to go again. I ran into James Harden at Target, where he performed the ultimate air hug. Christmas Eve happened, Christmas Day happened, and I had my first ever sake bomb. And then 4 more after that. Now before I continue, just know that I love going to concerts, and these past 3 months I went to a lot of them, so I'm just going to list them all real fast. I saw Halsey, Luke Combs, Black Bear, Fall Out Boy, Deep Cuts, She Devils, Colts, Wade Bowen, Lady Gaga, Walker McGuire, Kane Brown, Bleachers, Philip Phillips, Sorrow, Shabazz Palaces, Kimbra, Priest, Jesse Lanza, In Vogue, Fantagram, Solange, Mount Kimby, Justice, Deep Cuts Again, Beyond Indian, Carly Rae Jepsen, and Katy Perry. So that brings us to our final event of this 3-month recap, and my first flight that I mentioned earlier. Yes, this guy right here took me on my first ever flight in the 23 years that I've been alive. The flight was only 30 minutes, but that was long enough for me to get drunk and not fully remember this Uber ride. We went to this friendly bar called The Friendly Bar, but who cares? I blame it for causing the following 2 hours to be a beautiful blur. And that brings us to the first clip of this 3-month recap.
I'm freezing! My nipples are so hard!
New Orleans was freezing, but that did not stop it for being the best New Year's Eve I had ever experienced. We tripped, twerked, and ended up in Jackson Square, squished between people partying and having fun. We did the countdown to 2018, celebrated, and this guy kinda sums it all up.
Hey, 2018, bitch!
I woke up super hungover, and then we made our way back to Houston. New Orleans was the best way to close 2017 and bring in 2018. And that's pretty much it. These past 3 months have honestly been really good to me. I'm excited, mildly nervous, but ready to see what 2018 has in store. Thanks for watching. That's it, bye.